If I lost all my contacts and had to rebuild my ultra-wealthy network from scratch all over again, one of the ways I'll start with is with wine, even if I don't drink. In this video, I'll show you how wine becomes a passport into rooms most people don't even know exist, and how you can use it to attract high net worth clients, investors, and high caliber partners. Hi, I'm Vanessa, former ultra high net worth private banker from Goldman Sachs. And over the last decade, I've hosted vineyard dinners in Bordeaux, closed 8-figure deals at Sotheby's wine auctions, and watched clients move millions with a single swirl of the glass. Now, it is a common fallacy that you have to drink in order to succeed in terms of business or leisure, but actually that is not true. Because wine isn't just about alcohol, it's about access, identity, and power. You just have to understand the hidden language of wine that connects you with the ultra-rich, even if you haven't tasted a single drop. Wine isn't just a drink, it's a universal status language. Like art and yachts, but more approachable. Why does the ultra-wealthy love wine? Well, firstly, because in terms of legacy, wine is generational. Think Rothschilds, Antinori, or Domaine de la Romanée Conti. Secondly, it's because of scarcity. Top wines are produced in limited quantities, so you can think of it as Petrus, Screaming Eagle, or DRC. And thirdly, it's due to its tax-free portability. You can move 500k in value in a 6-bottle leather trunk. And lastly, it's due to cultural sophistication. Knowing wine implies worldliness, heritage, and refinement. So what's the psychology behind wine and wealth? Here's what it signals. For patience, aged wine equates to long-term thinking. And for discretion, labels known only to insiders like Clos de Tar and Masato. And generational perspective. Here's an elite social cue. You could ask, what wine reminds you most of your family legacy? It opened doors to deep trust conversations and far more than any sales pitch. For ultra-high net worth wine patterns, they collect in themes such as birth years, anniversaries, and vintage portfolios, and many own vineyards as a way to flex cultural capital. And here's how to network through wine without drinking. Firstly, you could attend wine tastings where you observe, listen, and ask insightful questions. You could volunteer at private auctions like Christie's, Sotheby's, or Napa Premier, and host non-alcoholic pairing dinners. You could learn the wine language like tannin, verticals, on premier, and decanting, and build a cellar vision board by creating your dream cellar on Pinterest. You could prep before events by researching the host, wine served, and expected guests, as well as knowing wine etiquette, such as holding glass by the stem. Avoid talking price and respect tasting rituals. If you don't drink, you could order a mocktail but engage deeply. And you could follow up by referencing the wine in your thank you email, and having wine conversations trigger lasting impressions, more so than drinking the wine itself. So end of the day, it's all about social fluency, more so than whether you drink. And here's where the ultra-wealthy meet over wine. They meet in wine networking hotspots in Europe, such as Châteaux, Smith, Haute Lafitte, Saint-Emilion estates, and Monaco yacht tastings. In the US, it's Napa Valley Reserve, Meadowwood, and cult wine events. And in Asia, it would be Penfolds Red Club, Tokyo Salons, and Singapore Elite Dinners. And here's the social cue. What you want to do is to comment on the terroir, not the cost. You could say, this reminds me of a cooler vintage from Burgundy. Instead of saying, how much does this cost or is this expensive? And for elite wine conversations that open doors, here are some prompt starters that you could use. You could ask, which wine do you associate with your first big deal? Do you prefer collecting or drinking? And you could position with subtle status by quoting someone like John C. Robinson or Robert Parker. And you could ask curious questions. How do you think climate change will affect Bordeaux in 2050? And you could also reference wine history. Did you try the 1929 Chateau Latour Vertical? And understand the bottle sizes, right? Like Jeroboam and Methuselah. Know when not to finish your glass and hold restraint. And use prestige sparingly. Let them shine. Why do billionaires buy vineyards? Because of status symbol, legacy asset, estate planning, and global power move. A client once gifted Romane Conti to every board member, and it wasn't just wine, it was a power flex. You could have score-stopping story expansions. What else can you say at wine events? Do say what drew you to this region. Do you collect verticals? Have you explored a certain wine? And don't say like, I don't really know wine, even if you at least have the ability to have a conversation about it. And this is what gets you invited, even if you don't drink. And here's what they silently notice. They notice how you hold the glass, whether it's by the stem or the bowl, if you smell the cork, if you talk terroir, not the price, and if you recognize regional cues, like this smells Rhônish. And here's the unspoken status quotes in wine. Vintage is not necessarily automatically better, and restraint signals power. Sending wine ahead of a meeting means a high-level social cue. And lastly, refined pairing is more important than a flashy bottle. The moment you master the codes of wine, your next investor, luxury partner, or ultra-high net worth client becomes inevitable. They don't want to be pitched, they just want to feel understood and seen. In my course, Elevating Circles, you'll learn how to decode high-status behaviors, build trust with ultra-high net worth individuals, and speak the silent languages of wealth. This is your new edge, your unfair advantage. So I'll put the link for Elevating Circles below so you can check it out. And in my next video, I'll be showing you how to connect with the ultra-wealthy through yachts, even if you've never stepped on one. We're talking charter psychology, maritime social cues, and the codes of super yachts. So subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, and I'll see you there.